contract, this is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed, wow. My cloaking devices just malfunction, guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's why you roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
Showtime. Hey, it's your boy, Big Mike Raider. And I got a few things I want to talk to you guys about before we get into it. Guys, let me know where you guys are from. I see that we got Fitzy in the building saying he's from Ohio in the house. Shout out to you, bro, from the Midwest. Shout out to Bambino2678 from Iowa. I know where Van City's from. He's from Vancouver, Canada. Shout out to you, Jersey Raider, of course, from Jersey. Shout out to you, bro. Orlando Padilla from KCMO. Hey, we're going to wait for a few more people to pop in. Van City, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. There you go. Guys, we got a couple of things. I want to talk about the Planet Raiders article that was dropped this week from myself and Wasted Talent. I have a couple of articles. It's pretty much along the same frequency, same kind of. We're kind of on the same page. We're talking about breakout players for this show, guys. Shout out to RK, Raider Way 73, Las Vegas, home of the Raiders. Let's go. Let's go. Sean Johnson, from Jersey. All right. Hey, yeah. I'm starting to step it up a little bit with the quality. I'm doing my best, man. We're going along. We're making things build up. We're clearing things up as we go, man. I'm trying to make a perfect product, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Shout out to John B. from Ohio. We got the Midwest representing. Shout out to Jason Marshall. Finally caught a live. Salute to you. Thanks for popping in, man. We got 18 in the building. 18 of you guys. I need for you guys to like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Guys, we also have on that bottom right-hand corner, if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, go ahead and drop a contribution if you like. If not, come kick it if you can't do so. But if you're really liking what I'm putting down, go ahead and drop that contribution. It is much appreciated. Thank you very much in advance. New episode of Behind the Shield airs at 7 p.m. tonight. All right, guys, I'm not going to keep you guys for too long because I know you guys want to catch that Behind the Shield. But I thank you guys for popping in. Jason Marshall says originally from Sacramento, living and representing in Denver. There you go. There you go. And then that's what we need, man. We need Raider Nation across the nation. Shout out to DeMarcus Webb. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you coming in. Raiders Primos, my boy, what's going on? What's going on? And there we go. From Orange County, the OC, Big Mike Fullerton. Okay. I see you not too far from me. About an hour and a half from where you are right now, up in Oxnard, Ventura County. Guys, let's talk about breakout players. So I'm going to start out with Wasted Talents. His article, he was talking about Dylan Parham. He's being a breakout guy. I do want to read out the scouting report that was dropped from Wasted Talent. Great article. If you haven't checked it out, it was in the link earlier. If not, go ahead to planetraiders.com. It's going to be your one-stop shop for everything Raiders, articles, rumors. We got a behind enemy lines section that we're going to be doing. We'll be covering the AFC West in general, talking to other content creators and getting into their world and bringing their world to us and vice versa. Graphic views, of course. We're going to have wasted word of the day, scout strategy. We're going to have everything you need, including some fantasy football stuff from Hammer and myself. One-stop shop at planetraiders.com. But For this article, go ahead and check it out on planetraiders.com. It dropped on, I believe, on the 7th of July, I believe. But scouting report from Wasted Talent, he says, Dylan Parham's extensive experience as a 4-year starter in Memphis spread, RPO-heavy multiple run scheme has prepared him well for the transition to the NFL. With 51 career starts, Parham has demonstrated his versatility by playing at right tackle and both guard spots. So this is a guy who is very versatile. Showed last year he can move to either side. He can also play the center position. We can get a lot from Dylan Parham, and I'm expecting him to have a big season. It says, despite being a smaller guard, Parham possesses a muscular and lean build with a strong base. This allows him to showcase excellent mobility in his lower half, enabling him to bend and get underneath defenders while triple extending at the point of attack. His core strength also allows him to effectively dig out, strain, and displace defensive linemen on an angle drive and down blocks. Parham's athletic ability is another asset as he exhibits quickness, balance, and body control in open space. This enables him to excel on screens, pulls, and climbs, where he can line up and connect with smaller targets with impressive accuracy. Let me know what you guys think about that scouting report. I think that Dylan Parham, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be make or break on that offensive line. I'm going to get more into the offensive line and what people are talking about as far as our offensive line goes. But Dylan Parham, one of the make or break guys for this offense, for this offensive line for the Raiders this season. You could possibly be seeing him as the moving to the center of the future. Maybe not this season, but maybe next season you'll see him moving over to the center position. He plays, you could pretty much put him anywhere in that interior offensive line. Let me know what you guys think. But shout out to Hug D's with the first super chat of the day, the $4.99 Haymaker. Big Mike, my first super on your channel. Well done, my guy. Never quit grinding. Much love and respect. Hug D's, I appreciate you. You've always been a strong supporter here at Big Mike Raiders Channel and Planet Raiders. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support as always, all the time, man. It's much appreciated. We got Van City. Oh, there you go. LV Maximus from Las Vegas. I heard there's 110 out there. Keep cool as best you can, big guy. Looking forward to seeing you soon, man. M85 in the building. Ups, writers, actors, running back, striking. Oh, yeah. Well, wait, running back strike. Yeah. Well, if this is a running back strike, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be 100% passing league this season. But that's the first of me hearing about that. Explain what you're talking about, M85. Guys, so what do you think about Dylan Parham being that breakout player? I think that this is the year where he's going to step up and show that he is one of the top guards in the AFC, not only the AFC, but even in the NFL. I think that this offensive line is going to build from what they did last year. They were like fringe top 10, 11, 12 ranked offensive line. And I think that is, besides Colton Miller, Dylan Parham is going to be that guy right next to him to kind of anchor that as well. So you guys let me know what you think. Shout out to Van City. He says, I'm having dental surgery tomorrow. I'm going to need as much Raiders content as possible. Going to be bedridden for a few days. Hey, good luck on that dental surgery. Hopefully you bounce back from that, man. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Lots of ice cream, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, there you go. T Severe in the building. We had my guy T Severe on the show on Sunday. He threw out some haymakers. Go check him out. He's going to be dropping some stuff down in the future, but shout out to you, bro, from the LA area. I got to go check you out later on down the line, man. We're going to chop it up in person. So that was part of Wasted Talent's article, but I do want to read one more thing. He kind of has a projection for 2023 regarding Dylan Parham. He says, in the coming 2023 season, the Raiders can prioritize Dylan Parham's development as a guard while keeping an eye on his potential to become a long-term starting center at just 23 years old. Parham has plenty of time to continue owning his skills and gaining experience at the guard position. By focusing on solidifying Parham's role as a guard, Raiders can maximize his potential and contribute to the overall success of the offensive line. This strategy allows Parham to grow and develop as a player while also providing the team with depth and versatility along the offensive line. Yeah, this is going to be one of our guys that's going to be almost a Swiss Army knife. He's going to be our strongest, most valuable. To me, I think he's going to be the most valuable offensive lineman on our team for years to come. He did struggle in pass protection. He had a 44.6 pass blocking grade, 23rd among 25 players who played at least 400 pass block snaps from that left guard position. But he was a rookie. He's going to have some growing pains and things like that. But I think he's going to bounce back this year and show what he's made of, showing that he does belong amongst the best guards in the NFL. Guys, let me know what you think. We got 27 in the building. I need for you guys to like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Guys, if you also feel like generous, go ahead and throw that super chat down there. I would appreciate it in advance, guys. Now, let's talk about a little bit of my article where I cover some make or break guys, 4 additional guys. Since we're on the same, let's stick to the same subject of offensive linemen. The next one I have, as far as a make or break guy, is going to be on the right side. Now, I know that we have a vacant spot at that right guard position. I'm not going to talk too much about the right guard, the right guard position too much, because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a McClendon Curtis. It's going to be a Van Roten. It's going to be a Muti. It's going to be a number of guys that's going to be going for that right guard position. But the one spot that seems to be solidified on that right side is Jermaine Illuminor. Guys, I think that he's going to continue to build what he did from last year, where he gave up 2 sacks in the first 2 games, but those final 15 games, he only gave up 1 sack. Now, he did have some untimely penalties, which really did eat at him, and he was very expressive about that on social media. He's been very vocal about cleaning that up to Raider Nation, and I think that he's going to come back and build off of what he did last year. That's why I think we go as far as where he takes us, as far as being that clean, being a lot more clean, as far as not having as many penalties and continue with protecting that quarterback in pass rush and pass blocking situations. Let me give you a little bit of some information from the article. It says, in addition, last season, Illuminor earned a 75.3 overall PFF grade with a 76.1 pass blocking grade and a 75.7 run blocking grade, while giving up only 3 sacks and 940 snaps played, which is impressive. It's very impressive. I think that he's going to build upon that, and we're getting him for a very low price. I think he has a 1-year deal. I think it was like I'm not going to even throw the number out there, but I think it's between $3 and $5 million. Don't quote me on that one, but it's a low price. We're getting him for a bargain. It says, furthermore, Illuminor gave up an impressive 1 sack in the final 15 games of the season, which is among the best amongst all right tackles in the league. Guys, what do you guys think about Illuminor taking us to where we need to go on that right side? I think he's going to be also a vocal leader this year on that offensive line. And I think that this offensive line is going to be our strongest point this year on offense. I think that Jimmy G is going to be healthy because of that offensive line. He's going to be able to stand upright. I've said it before, 3 steps drops, get the ball out of your hand pretty quickly, hand it off to the running backs, whoever that may be. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But that offense is going to run through that offensive line, and I think that's going to be our strongest suit this year, guys. Our strongest suit. Shout out to LV Maximus. He says, met Jermaine, he's hungry. I believe it. He's been saying all over social media that he's he's hungry. He wants to right the wrongs from last year. He also says there was a tweet he dropped a couple of this was back in May. He says, Colton is a top tackle in the NFL, period. He deserves all the recognition in the world. Me, I still got work to do. And this is where they ranked PFF. They ranked the offensive tackle rankings, the top 32. They had the Raiders in the top 10. They had them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had them ninth, right behind Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey, which I think for the Broncos, I think that's a load of crap. I think Miller and Illuminor should be above the Broncos, but that's just me as a homer. That's just us as a homer, I'm sure. And we definitely don't want to be below the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos offensive line is that good. Shout out to Hug D's with a $9.99 haymaker. I appreciate you, bro. I'm hopeful for the season, but there's a concern, of course. Strength of schedule, play calling, defensive execution, and position groups, quarterback, linebacker, corner, and running back if JJ and us don't figure it out. Time to grind. You're right. As far as strength of schedule, this is what we deal with every year, guys. I think that this is just as Raider fans, as a Raider, if you're going to be on the Raiders, you know you're going to have one of the toughest schedules. That's just how it goes for whatever reason. I don't know how this always seems to happen, but we always seem to be in that top 5 to 10 in strength of schedule. As far as play calling goes, I trust Josh McDaniels. I trust what these guys are going to be what they're doing. We have one of the best play callers in the league. As a head coach, still remains to be seen. He leaves a lot to the imagination. He still has to kind of earn our respect there as far as that goes. Defensive execution, we have a lot of youngsters. So, yeah, it might be some growing pains, but I think we'll get it together as the season progresses. Yeah, you're right. I absolutely agree with you. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $9.99 super. I appreciate your support as always, man. Shout out to T Severe. Jermaine Illuminor may not be a star, but he's on a solid deal, versatile on the line, and is the best right tackle we've had since Austin Howard. Wow, yeah. And you know what? That's Jermaine Illuminor is definitely that's probably one of our best contracts we have on the books on this roster right now. He's a 1-year deal. He's definitely working to get he's kind of like on a prove it kind of deal almost. He's kind of out there for a like a dress rehearsal, kind of show him, hey, I deserve maybe a little bit more money, so I'm going to show it through my play this year. And I believe that's kind of where we're at with him. So I agree with you. It's gonna be exciting to see what Jermaine Illuminor brings to the table. I think that he's gonna tear it up this year. LV Maximus, he says, I'm so excited. Rookie show up next Thursday. Let's effing go. Yeah, we're about a week away, and we're gonna actually have some real news to talk about. Right now, it's a lot of speculation. We've been speculating all off season, where who's going where. You know, as far as NFL draft went, we were talking about who's getting drafted and things like that. Speculation. Here we go. We're actually going to put a football on the grass, and we're going to be playing some ball. It's going to be exciting. We're going to finally have some things to talk about. Guys, I'm excited for this. We have 36 in the building. I need for you guys to like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. And let me see. Says we're a right guard away from having a top 7 to 10 unit for years to come. I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to talk about something I saw. I went to Warren Sharp. He dropped a tweet, and I saw that he has his own website. Shout out to Sharp Football Analysis. He dropped a 2023 NFL offensive line ranking, and he had the Raiders going into 2023 ranked 15th out of 32. So he has us right down the middle, and he has a blurb for each ranking. I'm going to scroll down real quick. I have it on my phone. He says Colton Miller has developed into a reliable left tackle. However, serious questions remain on the interior offensive line. Alex Bars and Dylan Parham ranked 63rd and 66th, respectively, out of 67 qualified guards in pressure rate allowed. What do you guys think about that ranking, having them at 15th? He has a good point. Pressure rate, we were towards the bottom. I think that Parham is going to improve on that side, and whoever we have on that right side is going to be young and hungry and is going to earn that spot because there's a lot of people going for that right guard spot. So whoever comes out of that fire is going to be sharpened because iron sharpens iron, and they're going to come out and be ready to play. What do you guys think about being ranked 15th out of 32? To me, I'm not outraged. I would like to see them ranked higher. They have us above, just below the Pittsburgh Steelers at 14, the Bengals at 13, the Chargers at 12, the Panthers at 11, and the Vikings at 10. I understand with the Chargers, they got a couple young guys that they drafted the last couple years, but they haven't been upright. They haven't been able to stay on the field. So I don't know. I think they're giving the Chargers a little bit too much benefit of the doubt, guys. I don't know. You guys let me know. I would like to see the Raiders in that 13 to 15 is fine, I guess. We'll show them when the season progresses. I think that they will be in this top 10 ranking when it's all said and done, guys. Let me know. And they also have the Broncos ranked 7th, and I think Mike McGlinchey is getting way too much love. But, this ranking is based off of film. Warren Sharp is very sharp. No pun intended. He's a very sharp football mind. He looked at the film. He did his due diligence. So I'm going to take his word for what he would, his rankings. He has a good team behind him. So I'm definitely going to take his word for that one, guys. What do you think about number 15 being ranked for our offensive line as a unit, guys? Shout out to Hug D's. He says, if this team can gel and play with its hair on fire, the sky's the limit. The talent on paper is there. Yeah, especially offensively. I think we have one of the stronger offensive squads on paper from top to bottom. I mean, you start with now I know that Jimmy G is he's not the quarterback that we were hoping for at the beginning of the offseason, right? We were hoping for, you could say Tom Brady. He retired. Aaron Rodgers, that whole debacle that went down. He was favored to come to the Raiders, and then it didn't happen. But to me, I think that was the best. Besides, after we get rid of Derek Carr, that was the best option available. So, and it's the best fit for us. I think that he's going to do well under this offense. The offensive line, like I said, is going to play very well. I think that we're going to have two guys who's going to break out and show that they belong on a starting offensive lineman. If we can get Josh Jacobs on board, I'm hoping that deal comes through. Get him in the backfield, return, and do what he kind of left off from last season. And then our wide receiving core is probably one of the tops in the league right now. I mean, from top to bottom. I don't have to name the guys. You guys know. So offensively, I think that the talent is there, and I think even defensively, we have the right guys at the right spots. We have veterans sprinkled in, and we have youngsters to kind of help those youngsters kind of build. And I think it's a good recipe for success on defense. And I think we're gonna shock a lot of guys this year. I think we're gonna win 9 games, hopefully 10 or even 11 games. But 9 seems to be the more realistic thing for me. Is that enough for the playoffs? It remains to be seen. But that's kind of where I'm at as far as this team goes. Shout out to you, Hug D's. Thanks for the support as always. Thanks again, man. LV Maximus, Chargers are always overrated every year. And even when they do do have everybody healthy, they still underachieve. That's just what the Chargers do. I mean, that's just we've seen them historically year after year. That's just what they do. Marvin Lewis, shout out to you. Says, what up, Big Mike? Let's go nation and share the content. Thank you. Make sure you share it with your folks, guys. Make sure you share it with your folks. Guys, we're going to jump into the next breakout guy. We've been talking about this guy all off season, all summer, seems like. Josh Jacobs. We pretty much go wherever he takes us, and I'm hoping that we get Josh Jacobs on board, because if we're not, then it's looking like we're going to go running back by committee. We've had this whole discussion, and on Sunday we talked about it all on my last show. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I do want to talk about some things that a little bit about Josh Jacobs that you may have not have noticed, or maybe not have known what he brought to the table last season. So it says Josh Jacobs was accountable for 80.2% of the team's total rushing yards and 34.2% of the team's total offense in 2022, meaning that the offense went as far as wherever Jacobs went. Because of this, Jacobs' value to the Raiders offense must be considered as second to none and should be paid as such. Those numbers say a lot. Those numbers say a lot to me. You have one guy who is accountable for about over a third of the offense and 80% of the running game. He has he has all the leverage in the world to be like, hey, you got to pay me. Go ahead and pay me. I deserve this. I was most of the offense last year. You guys tried to throw the ball last year. Didn't work out. And I pretty much saved us from being a dumpster fire. Now, you can argue that 6-11 is a dumpster fire. You can argue whether it is or not. But you got to also consider how we lost those games as well. We didn't get blown out except for maybe the last game, the Chiefs, and then we got blown out by the Saints. But every single game, we were in every single game. We had big leads that we blew. So 6-11 doesn't look great, but the way we lost, we were in most of those games. So that 6-11 could have easily been flipped over and been like a 10-7 or 11-6. If things would have went right in 2 or 3 plays, you flip that up. But that's kind of how I feel about it. And I think that Josh Jacobs, he has a big say on how things kind of unfolded last year offensively, because offensively they played well. I think that they didn't have a continuity and a flow, which really kind of messed them up last season. On top of Van City, he drops the lemon. So I guess he's talking about Derek Carr. So we did have some struggles at the quarterback position last year. But to address Foxy06, thanks for popping in. Does Zeus see more time? I think naturally he's going to see more time this year. You don't want to see Josh Jacobs, if he does come back, getting about 300, almost 400 carries, touches in general. You don't want to see him getting that many touches again, especially if we're going to give him a long-term deal. We want to preserve him as much as we can and keep him strong down the line. So because of that, you're going to see more Zeus this year. Maybe some other guys. Maybe we might get a Sincere McCormick to shock us in camp and earn a 53-man roster spot. Maybe Britton Brown comes in and takes care of business. So, it's Josh Jacobs not going to get those kind of carries this year because of trying to preserve him. And plus, if we do give him a 3-year deal or so, you don't want him going hard again this year. And then for the last 2 years, you kind of like there's some wear and tear and he can't perform like he did in years past. But guys, what do you guys think about Josh Jacobs' contract situation? Do you think by Monday he's gonna be here? He's gonna be on board? I'm kind of leaning towards that. I think that it is for the sake of maybe there is a deal going on. Maybe a deal is already inked, but he's holding off because he doesn't want to go to camp. We've seen that happen before. Maybe we might see him halfway through camp. I don't know. Hopefully Monday comes because I want everybody to be in camp. I want things to be nice and smooth. We have some continuity going in. But it wasn't shocked to see Josh Jacobs not get a deal inked by Monday because he doesn't want to report to camp early or whatever. Just as long as he's still, I don't know, still in touch with the Raiders and there's no kind of friction, I guess it would be okay as long as we get a deal locked in as soon as possible. That's kind of where I'm at with that one. Hug D says, dude balled out, but the NFL rules are in favor of passing and running backs are devalued based on great rookies doing business on rookie deals. It's sad and a perfect storm for disappointment for fans. Yeah, it's definitely disappointing with Josh Jacobs and just how they're treating running backs in general. I think that I've said this before. You want the running backs to be at a 2 after their second year. You want to give them that payday that they deserve after the second year. But the collective bargaining agreement is not for another 7 years. So we're going to have like another 7 years or so to see these running backs get treated unfairly as far as contracts go. I hope things change down the line, but it's hard to see it, man. It's hard to see at this point what they're doing with these running backs. Shout out to Al's Ghost. He says we've gotten burned in recent years with paying players and having them not perform. Yeah, I hear you, but to me, I think that's not a reason to not pay somebody just based off of somebody in the past. That's if you do that, then you're playing scared, and if we're gonna succeed, we're gonna have to take some risks, and we're gonna have to pay these guys because that's what teams, good franchises do. They keep their homegrown guys and they build with those guys. So we can't go into it like, the Raiders historically they suck when they sign new players. I mean, when they re-sign their guys and it doesn't work out, but that has nothing to do with anything in this situation. We have to keep our homegrown guys and build, because stars win in this league, and Josh Jacobs is a star. So it's time to pay him, in my opinion. DeMarcus Webb, he says, regardless if Jacobs is here or not, I'd like to finally see us develop some running back depth. Last decent running back too was Booker and Drake behind JJ, and they didn't get a lot of carries unless JJ was hurt. Yeah, and like I said, Jacobs was accountable for 80.2% of the team's total rushing yards, but they ranked middle of the road as far as team rushing goes. So that tells me that the rest of these running backs weren't really stepping up, and weren't, when they did get a chance, they weren't doing much. So you definitely don't want to see Josh Jacobs be that bell cow again at running back. You want to see more of a balanced attack. It'll only help Josh Jacobs later on in the fourth quarter and getting him 100%. Like, he's coming at you 100% later on in the game. Shout out to Teen Raider. Thanks for popping in, man. Thanks for the support, man. I appreciate it. Jason Marshall, how many preseason game snaps will JJ have if under contract? I'll tell you this, bro. He definitely won't be. Well, we don't have a Hall of Fame game this year. I definitely promise that he will not see a single snap first game of the preseason like he did last year, if any. I don't think he'll play at all in the preseason. I don't want to see him play in the preseason, to be honest with you. Jacobs will absolutely perform. You can't question that young man's integrity and grit. He's special in almost every carry. Yeah, he's definitely a special running back. My concern is, it's everybody's concern is how much money is he asking for? That's kind of where we're at. Is he gonna report to camp? Is he gonna get this deal done by Monday? We want to see everybody come in and have no issues by the time camp starts. We have everybody, and then the wheels are turning, and then we can kind of start the continuity process and start the gelling process from day one. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And Josh Jacobs is a large piece of this puzzle. We need him on board. Jason Marshall, he says, Elliott, Kamara, Bell, history scared off NFL owners. Yeah. Yes, that's the reason why they're not getting paid. And it's that's the part that, I also said, don't want to look at the past, but it's hard not to, because of what you've seen from these running backs in years past, the history situation, the injury history, and it's tough, man. It's a tough situation. But I think for Josh Jacobs, I already said it, from like a 3-year deal will be good, but that first year you give him you give him 15 million, right? Let's say 14, almost 15 million. And then the second and third year, you kind of lower that price a little bit with some incentives, so he can maybe earn that money later on those final 2 years. But I think this year he should be rewarded for what he did last year in these first 4 years. Because Josh Jacobs, he played well last year in 2021. He was a major part of us getting to the playoffs in 2021. Those final 4 games, it wasn't because of the arm of Derek Carr, I'll tell you that. It was because of Josh Jacobs running the ball. He was finally the They put him. They kept handing the ball off. He's getting in a good rhythm, and he was playing his best ball later on in that season. And he was the reason why we made the playoffs. So, Josh Jacobs definitely should get the money he deserves at this point. John Leon says Jacobs will be traded. Whew. You know what? I hope not. I hope not. And this feels eerily similar to the 2018 with the Khalil Mack situation. Now, I'm not saying that Josh Jacobs is going to get traded, but I have that feeling that how I felt before Khalil Mack got traded. I was like, all right, sooner or later he's going to get a deal with the Raiders, and he'll be in camp. And then I remember that September 1st in 2018 when he got traded to the Bears, and it was devastating, man. And I hope that history doesn't repeat itself. I'm hoping you're wrong, but at the same time, we've seen this time and time again. It really wouldn't surprise me, man, to be honest with you. Van City thinks otherwise. He says JJ isn't going anywhere. He missed 8 games in 4 seasons. In running backs standards these days, that's not bad at all. So if talking about value in running backs, what team is going to give up a draft capital and cash for JJ? So yeah, John, they're after your head, man. But to answer your question on that one, I know you're asking John that question. A team that thinks they can win now will give that up. Will give up a good amount of money, I think. But and a lot of people were saying about the Jets. There was Mo Moten. He wrote something on I think it was with Bleacher Report or wherever I think it was Bleacher Report. He was saying that it was going to be with the Jets. Now, if they don't believe in Breece Hall that way and they want to win now and they want to complete that offense, then I could see them pulling the trigger on that and bringing in a Josh Jacobs. But that's highly unlikely. But that's kind of where I'm at with that one. T Severe with the $50 haymaker. Bro, you didn't even have to do that, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the support as always, man. Wow, $50. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. In 2021, New England put up 2,151 yards with Harris, Stevenson, and Bolden, and none going over 1K. Last year, the Raiders put up 2,059 yards. New England put up 1,812 yards in 2022 without Josh McDaniel. LV put up 1,617 yards in 2021 and 1,916 yards in 2020. McDaniels is the key, in my opinion. And you know what? You've been a big supporter of a running back by committee, and you've been sticking with that. And here's my thing, man. Harris, Stevenson, and Bolden weren't names until that year, so I'll give you that. But we have 2 rookies in this situation, which I guess in today's game, you do want those young running backs being your horsemen, right? You want to be those you throw a rookie, one second-year guy out there. We'll throw another second-year guy out there, and then we got Sincere McCormick or Brandon Bolden, whoever it may be, right? I can see that. But one thing that the Patriots didn't have was a Josh Jacobs, right? That's kind of where we're at with that one. So I think that Josh McDaniels, he probably could do a running back by committee. I don't know if that's what he prefers or that's kind of he did what he was, he kind of made lemons out of lemonade kind of situation. I don't know. Maybe that is what he prefers, but that's a big risk to me, man. And I know how you feel about, paying the running backs and things like that, but Josh Jacobs was very valuable to us. Now, I'm putting market to the side in this situation. Market to me is an NFL issue. Now, what does that mean to the Raiders? Not really much. Josh Jacobs is a lot more valuable to us than he would be to anybody else, because offenses are different. He's more valuable to us than he would be to Kansas City. He would be more, or any other team that's more pass heavy. We are more of a balanced attack, and I think that Josh Jacobs kind of leads the way, and because of that, he is a lot more valuable. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. But T Severe, I appreciate it, man. $50 haymaker, man. Hey, bro, bro. I appreciate it, bro. That means a lot, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to Victor Huerta, Raider 83. What's good, Big Mike, bro? I feel that JJ will get his contract and will be fine. If he doesn't, I think we'll sign Cook, in my opinion. Oh man. Cook would be so me and Kane Town had this debate about Cook. I think that it would be a big downgrade, and we would most definitely have to go a running back by committee, similar to what T. Severe said about how the Patriots kind of ran their offense at running back, having almost like a 3-headed monster kind of deal. They would definitely have to do that with Cook because he cannot be a bell cow anymore. Will that work? I think it could work because of that. I would rather that we, Josh Jacobs stays with us and then we keep him. But if we bring in Cook, then we have to change the whole philosophy how we're going to be running this offense. I don't know how I feel about that, but Kane Town is he's definitely in favor of that, man. So shout out to you, man. Thanks for the support as always. Hug Dees, he says, here's the thing with running back by committee, more different hands on the ball, possibilities for bad handoffs, mistakes, and turnovers. Yes, that is true. And especially if you're not used to the quarterback running back exchange, which Jimmy G hasn't worked with any of these running backs now. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's when repetition comes in. And then that just goes on like, hey, we need Josh Jacobs to get on board so he can come in and get that continuity with the exchange and things like that. But if we do go running back by committee, I hope that they run, that the repetition is they're going to be doing that all the time because when you have a running back by committee, you're going to have to get in line with all three running backs and know how they handle the ball. Some go like this, some go like this. Some, people handle the ball a little bit differently, and you definitely you have to treat each running back different in the exchange. So that is a big concern. That's one thing I didn't even think of, man. Good point right there. Shout out to you, bro. Jason Marshall, JJ will never touch his number like he did anywhere else with McDaniels and Devontae Adams cooking lanes. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, you can even argue that Josh Jacobs isn't going to get 1,600 yards anywhere close ever again in his career, even if he does stay with the Raiders. I think that he can, but I don't want him to. I want to see a more balanced attack. I want to see more running backs get involved. I want to see the passing game being more involved. I don't want to see Josh Jacobs being like I said, 80% of the offense. I don't want to see that again. That's not a good recipe for success offensively to me. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Ryan Rangel, he goes, there you go. He was talking to you, man. DeMarcus Webby says, not resigning JJ and signing any running back is hustling backwards. We drafted 2 and the rest are on cheap contracts. Defeats the whole purpose. You got a good point there too, man. Yeah, you definitely got a good point on that one. John Leon, Ravens are looking to trade linebacker Queen and Jacobs would fit there. Yeah, that's another good fit for Josh Jacobs. If he doesn't fit with us, he fits perfectly on what the Ravens will like to do. But I will say the Ravens, they got a new offensive coordinator and they do want to run more like 10, 11 personnel. So it's going to be a little bit different. They're not going to be running that, like multiple tight end sets like they have been, which is going to be interesting to see how Lamar Jackson responds to that one. But that's the Ravens. Who cares about them? But you're absolutely right. He will be a good fit with the Ravens, and Patrick Queen. We do need a linebacker. That's kind of what we're talking about. That's the weakness right now. But you know what? I'm gonna say that I do have a big I have faith in Divine Diablo, which is my next breakout guy for this season. I'm gonna talk about Divine Diablo just a little bit. He has, like we know, he has the green dot this year. This is his 3rd year. He put on some weight. He seems to be in the best shape of his life. He is now the size of a traditional linebacker. In today's game, he's about 230 pounds. Now, if he kept the same speed, that's going to be perfect. Um, and I'm gonna read just a little bit from here. It says the Raiders defense could take a big step forward if linebacker play is formidable. With Diablo at the helm, not only his play will be under a microscope, but also his leadership and understanding of the defense will be heavily scrutinized by many due to the status of being the green dot wearer. As it stands today, the defense goes where Diablo goes. Now, I think that's a fair assessment considering he is the green dot. You want your green dot guy to pretty much be the leader of your team, pointing people out to where they need to go and being that vocal leader. It's going to be interesting to see what Divine Diablo brings to the table this year in his third year. And we've been hearing a lot of good things from him. I mean, I think that, this is going to be a big year for him. And he's definitely going to be one of those guys that's going to be that make or break guy for our defense. And I think at each level of our defense, we have a make or break guy, right? Max Crosby, he's going to bring it, right? He's going to be a defensive player of the year candidate. He's an early preseason defensive player of the year nominee. If they had something like that, right, he would be that guy. Diablo at the linebacker position, he's going to be that guy. He's going to be running the defense. He's a guy that's going to be a make or break type of guy. In the secondary, Trayvon Merrick, he's going to be another one of those guys that we're going to need for him to step up. We're going to need for him to be kind of actually make some plays. I hate to say it that way, but actually make plays and when balls come to him, pause if necessary. But when the football comes to him, he's catching the ball and he's taking, he's actually catching the ball. So there's a lot of guys that needs to step up on this defense, and I think that Diablo, he's going to be kind of leading that way as far as a breakout guy, a guy that has kind of a chip on his shoulder with a lot to prove. So, what do you guys think about Divine Diablo? Classic Man Q, shout out to you, bro. It says Rams say they will trade AD if the season don't start well. Send them 2 first rounds then. Ooh, so you're talking about AD, Aaron Donald. Man, that's tough. That's tough. And it depends on what we're going to pay. It depends also on where we will be if it's mid-season. Are we 2-7 or are we 7-2? Or are we, where are we in the middle of the season? Because if that first round pick means that we're going to get a quarterback of a generation like a Caleb Williams, we have a chance to get him, then I don't know how I feel about that. But if we're 7-2 and we're close, we're like that, a couple of pieces away from actually contending, then I'm all for it. It really just depends on where we are mid-season. Alice Ghost, he goes, Diablo isn't built like a linebacker. I have low hopes. Whew, man. Yeah, man, it's 230 pounds, though, man. I know he probably doesn't have the frame of a linebacker, but in today's game, linebackers aren't built like how they used to be. He's more of he's a size of like a giant, a big safety, but you don't necessarily need those bruising type of linebackers. We need somebody that can actually cover tight ends and move very well laterally. Move well laterally, and then and be a speedster in the middle and a leader. And so that's where I hold high hopes for him. Now, as far as his build goes, okay, maybe he's not the traditional linebacker that we all know and love, but I have my faith in him for sure. Classic Man Q, and give him Nichols in that trade also. Oh, yeah, you're serious about that trade, man. You know what? It depends on how the season's going. Shout out to Ace with 2 E's. Both take Masterson will break out over Diablo. Something about that kid stands out. Keep an eye on him. Yeah, Masterson played well last year too. So I'm with you. But they're talking about Drake Thomas being a big guy, coming out of camp. They have high praise for him. So I'm going to keep my eye on Masterson. I'm going to keep an eye on Drake Thomas, see if he makes this team. Even Graf said it earlier on his show that Drake Thomas, according to Scout, is he's one of the most productive linebackers as far as blitzing goes in college football history. 19 sacks in his career as a linebacker. That's very impressive. Now, if he can replicate anything close to that at the NFL level, I'm all for it. And they're comparing him to a what's the guy's name? Perryman. They're comparing him to Perryman. So if that's the case, he comes in and can be that hard hitting linebacker and not necessarily the best cover guy, but can be that hard hitting guy. Hey, I'm all for it. But if Masterson can do that as well, then now we got linebacker depth, and we don't have to worry about getting a linebacker down the line. So it remains to be seen. But I have high hopes for this offense, guys, as far as the youngsters go, for sure. Diablo was on average 140 tackles before he got hurt. Yep, he was a tackling machine for sure. Yo, salute to my guy, Big Mike Raider. Just got home a few hours ago from family vacation. Hey, welcome back, man. You were leaving when we did our last show, so now we're back and we're on another show. Thank you for popping in, man. Thank you for the support, man. And we got 42 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Guys, I'm gonna be on for about 9 more minutes. I gotta get going soon, but guys, thank you for the support up to this point. T Severe, bro, I gotta hook you with a wrench. I definitely gotta hook you with one of those, man, for sure, man. I'm gonna do that at the end of the show for sure, bro. I appreciate your support, bro. Just another DJ, second year in this system. I think Diablo will be better in pass coverage as long as the communication on the back end is solid. And that's another thing people aren't talking about. We got Diablo in his second year of a system. We got Merrick in the second year of his system. We got Nate Hobbs in the second year of his system. These youngsters in their third season, they're coming out, and I think they got a lot to prove, and they're going to be flying because it's going to be second nature. That learning curve is not going to be there like it was last year. They'll be able to fly a lot more quicker, which in turn will mean less injuries. When you're hesitating, that's how you usually get hurt in football. And I think that this year is going to be a big year for those 3 guys. Merrick, I think he has a lot to prove. If he doesn't do anything this year, he'll probably be gone next year, man, to be honest with you. So he has a lot to prove. He has a lot to prove for sure. And I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay on defense. Shout out to Victor. He says, Big Mike, how hype are you to have Max and Wilson and Young on the line? I'm very hyped, man. And you know, the measurables for Tyree Wilson is ridiculous. If he can come in and maximize his use of his measurables, the sky's the limit with him, man. We can have multiple sacks on both ends. So, Max Crosby, he's gonna get his double-digit sacks, right? And if we can get Tyree Wilson on the other side doing the same thing, we're gonna have the best pass rushing duo in the league. And then you're learning from a Chandler Jones, right? If you learn from a Chandler Jones, that's a perfect situation. And then Byron Young on the interior, man, then now you're looking at a front 4 who's dominant for years to come. So I'm very excited to see these guys. I'm on the scale of 1 to 10. I'm at a 10 for sure about just the potential of it all, right? If we can get 3 of those 4 guys on that front 4 doing their business, we're going to be one of the top defensive linemen in the league, man. Defensive line squads in the league, man. And that goes a long way as far as defense goes, because if you're getting after the quarterback is going to throw a ball errant, and you're going to have the secondary with more opportunities to get interceptions, more fumble opportunities. Linebackers will be able to fly a lot more and cover better, more, knowing that that they don't have to cover at a 100% perfect rate, because they know that pass rush is going to get to those guys. To me, it just starts with that front 4. And I think that if Wilson and Young can be those guys that they're talking about coming out of camp, I'm excited for them, man. I don't know. I'm 1 through 10. I'm very hyped, bro. Very hyped. Orlando Padilla, is there any lineman from defense that can line up on a jumbo play on any off plays? I would love to see like like a Neil Farrell at fullback or something. But we know we got a Jacob Johnson for that. But if we would have had like a third tight end, like we have a 3 tight end set, and then we have like a Neil Farrell right there, kind of like a motion guy, and they use like him as a power back in goal line situations to kind of just ram the ball in the end zone. That'd be pretty cool. I've always been a big component of that, man. That's always fun to watch, to see the big man being a lead blocker and knocking someone's head off. That's always fun to watch. Shout out to NVS2155. It takes time. Trust the process. We're moving up in the defensive rank. Let's go. Yeah, I want to see them in that under the 20 rank. Anything better than 20 will be a win for me, to be honest with you. Shout out to Mark Salter, man. I appreciate you, bro. T. Severe goes, Diablo will be a dog, in my opinion, not too small at all. Fred Warner is 6'3", 229. Diablo 6'3", and he said he's up to 234. You don't owe me anything, Big Mike. You've done more than enough already, bro. Hey, bro, I don't expect anything in return, bro. I just appreciate your support, man. But guys, I got 39 in the building. I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I need for you guys to like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. I had one more. Actually, we did talk about Trayvon Merrick just a little bit. But those are guys. Those are my breakout guys. We talked about Josh Jacobs. We talked about Divine Diablo. We talked about Trayvon Merrick. We talked about Jermaine Illuminor. And then we talked a little bit about Wasted Talents article where he covered Dylan Parham. So those are my 5 guys that I think is going to be leading the charge as far as make or break. You guys let me know in the comments. If you guys are just tuning in, you guys are just pulling in, make sure you rewind, watch the whole thing. Hit me up in the comments. I'm always receptive to people's criticism, and I'll definitely get back to you guys. But with that, guys, I'm calling a night. You guys have a good night. You guys take care, and you guys have a good weekend. I will be back on Sunday. Actually, you know what? We won't be doing it this Sunday, but I got to get with Kane Town, but we're definitely going to be getting another show, Swagger and Boys to Sleep podcast. I just got to get with Kane Town, but we'll definitely be doing that soon, guys. And with that, you guys have a good night. You guys take care. You guys have a good one. Good night.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking device is just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's why I can roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause your mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scramble they spy drones.